System initialization. Loading. Please wait. Boot sequence initiated. Terminal online. Welcome to the UGSF Historical Archives. Search query. War against the Harrow. Retrieving data. Background summary. Time period. Stardate 2381.45, 2387.02. Primary subject Captain Arya Thorne. Conflict: the Harrow War. Location: United Galactic Security Forces, UGSF, Vanguard, various sectors. Conflict overview. The Harrow War, marked by its onset at stardate 238145, represents one of the darkest periods in interstellar history. The United Galactic Security Forces, led by figures such as Captain Arya Thorne, faced an unprecedented threat from an alien race known as the Harrow. These beings, characterized by their grotesque amalgamation of organic and mechanical elements, posed not just a physical threat, but also a profound psychological terror. The Harrow, a race of nightmarish entities, demonstrated abilities that defied conventional understanding of physics and warfare. Their tactics evolved rapidly, showcasing a disturbing blend of organic horror and mechanical efficiency. Their approach to warfare was not only physically devastating but also targeted the minds and spirits of their adversaries, leaving behind a trail of trauma and desolation. Captain Arya Thorne profile. Captain Arya Thorne, commanding officer of the UGSF Vanguard, became a prominent figure in the conflict. Known for her resilience and strategic acumen, Captain Thorne's journal entries provide a personal and harrowing perspective on the war's progression, the psychological impact on her crew, and the broader existential threat posed by the Harrow. Retrieving journal entries. Accessing personal logs of Captain Arya Thorne. Displaying entries. Please note, the following entries contain detailed descriptions of wartime experiences and may evoke strong emotional responses. Entry loaded. Stardate 2381.45. Aboard the UGSF Vanguard, orbiting the ruins of Delphine 4.
The stars look different now. Once beacons of distant hope, they've become silent witnesses to our desolation. I begin this journal not for the sake of history, but as a testament to those who've fallen, voices swallowed by the void. Today, the United Galactic Security Forces faced another catastrophic defeat, our fleet reduced to smouldering debris in the cold expanse above Delphine 4. The Harrow came at us like a nightmarish tempest, their ships a grotesque parade of twisted metal and writhing limbs. It's unnerving, the way they blend the organic with the mechanical, a mockery of life as we know it. They descended upon our fleet, their ships unfurling like the petals of some demonic flower, revealing the abominations within. I watched from the bridge of the Vanguard as they tore through our ranks. Their vessels move in ways that defy our understanding of physics, slipping through our defenses with eerie grace. Our weapons, so often a source of pride, seemed almost primitive in comparison. It was a massacre. We've faced the Harrow before, but something has changed. They're evolving, each encounter more harrowing than the last. Their ability to induce terror is almost supernatural. I saw seasoned soldiers, heroes of many battles, frozen in fear as the Harrow's ships breached our hull, spilling forth their legion. Their soldiers, if such monstrosities could be called that, are a nightmare made flesh. A fusion of the species they've conquered, each more grotesque than the last. Clawed limbs, eyes too numerous to count, mouths filled with serrated teeth. A cacophony of horror. The way they move, a disjointed, unnatural dance, leaves even the bravest amongst us paralyzed with fear. We lost Delphine 4 in a matter of hours. The planet's colonies, once bustling with life, now stand silent. The air filled with the stench of decay and the faint mechanical hum of the Harrow's lingering presence. They leave planets as lifeless husks, landscapes twisted into surreal monuments to their conquests. As I write this, the remnants of our fleet are regrouping. The command is scattered, our lines of communication fraying like threads in a worn tapestry. We're retreating to Rally Point Sigma, but with each passing moment, I feel the noose of this war tightening around our necks. I look at the faces of my crew, etched with fatigue and loss. There's a haunting loneliness in knowing we are among the few who have survived. The war continues, a seemingly endless cycle of horror and despair. Yet, as captain, I must instill hope, a flickering flame in this enveloping darkness. I close this entry with a heavy heart. The stars beyond the viewport no longer offer solace, only a reminder of the infinite battlefield we drift in. Tomorrow, we face the Harrow again. I can only hope my next entry is not my last. Captain Arya Thorne.
Stardate 2382-17, aboard the UGSF Vanguard, en route to Sector Gamma 9.
In the vast emptiness of space, the ghost of Delphine 4 lingers, a haunting spectre in the rear view of our battered fleet. Since my last entry, the days have blurred into a relentless succession of skirmishes and retreats, a dance with death choreographed by the whims of the Harrow. The Vanguard, once a symbol of strength and order, now bears the scars of this unending war. Our hull is patched with the remnants of fallen ships, a mosaic of desperation. The crew moves like shadows, their faces etched with the toll of battle, eyes reflecting a void no starlight can fill. We received word from High Command, a directive to head towards Sector Gamma 9. Intel suggests a possible weakness in the Harrow's forces there. Skepticism runs rampant, but orders are orders. In war, hope is a commodity as scarce as victory, yet we cling to it, however faint it may be. Sector Gamma 9 is unlike any battlefield we've encountered. Nebulae swirl in kaleidoscopic patterns, casting an eerie glow on the debris of countless battles. It's in this surreal dreamscape that we engaged the Harrow once more. Their ships emerged from the nebulous mist, a grotesque fleet that moved with a sinister, fluid grace. This battle was different. It wasn't just the clash of metal and the roar of cannons. It was a battle against the very essence of fear. The Harrow's ships released a pulsating sound, a low, guttural drone that seemed to resonate with the deepest fears harboured in one's soul. Many of us were left disoriented, fighting not just the external enemy, but our own inner demons. The monstrosities that boarded the Vanguard were the stuff of nightmares, each more horrifying than the last. Hybrid creatures, amalgamations of species with eyes that glowed with a malevolent intelligence. I found myself face to face with one, its many limbs reaching out as if to embrace me into oblivion. It was in that moment, staring into the abyss, that I realized the Harrow are not just conquerors. They are corruptors of reality. We repelled them, but at a grave cost. Half of my crew lies in the infirmary, their screams echoing through the corridors. The rest are a mix of anger, fear, and a desperation so palpable it chokes the air. Now, as I sit in my quarters, writing this entry, I find no solace in the stars. The war has consumed everything, leaving us adrift in a sea of darkness, our compasses spinning aimlessly. The Harrow are more than an enemy. They are a cataclysm, a force reshaping the very fabric of our existence into something unrecognizable, terrifying. Tomorrow, we continue to Sector Gamma 9's core. I hear the whispers of the crew, questioning the purpose, doubting our chances of survival. I share their fears, but as their captain, I must steer this ship through the storm, no matter how monstrous the waves. I end this entry with a heavy heart, a mind fraught with doubt, and a soul yearning for a glimmer of light in this overwhelming darkness. Captain Arya Thorne.
Stardate 2383.29. Aboard the UGSF Vanguard, assembling at the star point to Scorpios.
The void of space has never felt more alive, buzzing with the energy of 1,000 ships gathering for an assault, the likes of which history has never known. We stand on the precipice of what High Command is calling the decisive strike. An all-out invasion of Scorpios, a world the Harrow have fortified into a nightmarish bastion. Since the horrors of Sector Gamma 9, our campaign has been one of attrition, a grueling sequence of losses and Pyrrhic victories. But Scorpios presents a different narrative, a chance to turn the tide. Intelligence reports suggest that this planet is not just a stronghold, but a nexus of the Harrow's operations in this sector. Striking here could cripple their advances and give us a much-needed foothold. The scale of this operation is staggering. Ships of all classes, from nimble scouts to hulking dreadnoughts, crowd the starfield. Their hulls bear the marks of countless battles, yet they gleam with a sense of renewed purpose. Among them, the Vanguard feels like an old sentinel, scarred but unyielding. As I stand on the bridge, observing the fleet's formation, there's a part of me that swells with pride. Each ship, each crew, is a testament to the resilience of the United Galactic Security Forces. Yet, beneath this veneer of confidence, an unsettling feeling gnaws at me. The Harrow are unpredictable, their tactics ever-changing. Their ability to instill fear and manipulate reality makes them an adversary unlike any other. I've spent the past nights poring over battle plans and contingency strategies. We're prepared, or as prepared as one can be facing such an enigmatic foe. The crew of the Vanguard mirrors my sentiments, a mix of resolve and underlying anxiety. There's a shared understanding that this battle could mark a turning point in the war, for better or worse. Tonight, the stars are drowned out by the sheer magnitude of our assembled might. This invasion fleet is not just a show of force, it's a beacon of hope in a war that has offered little. My crew is ready, battle-hardened and eager to play our part in this major offensive. As I retire to my quarters to pen this entry, I can't shake the feeling of unease. Scorpios looms in the distance, a dark jewel in the void, its secrets guarded by the Harrow. Tomorrow, we descend into the maw of the beast. For the first time in what feels like an eternity, there's a sense of anticipation on board. It's a complex tapestry of fear, hope, and determination. We're stepping into the unknown. And while victory is uncertain, the promise it holds is enough to drive us forward. I end this entry with a cautious optimism. The Harrow have never been more formidable, but neither have we. Scorpios awaits, and with it, a chance to reclaim our future from the clutches of these cosmic horrors. Captain Arya Thorne.
Stardate 23A3.47. Aboard the UGSF Vanguard, in the aftermath of the Scorpios offensive.
The battle for Scorpios has ended, but victory eludes us still. The planet, a maze of towering spires and bottomless chasms, served as a fortress for the Harrow, each corner a testament to their grotesque dominion. As the first rays of Scorpios' twin suns pierced the horizon, we descended upon their stronghold, and Scorpios was plunged into chaos. The scale of the conflict was unlike anything we've witnessed. The Harrow, entrenched in their fortress world, unleashed horrors beyond comprehension. A symphony of lasers and explosions painted the skies, a cacophonous ode to war. The vanguard led the charge, cutting through the Harrow's outer defences with a ferocity born of desperation. The Harrow's response was swift and brutal. Their ships, grotesque amalgams of metal and flesh, swarmed us from all directions. The sky was ablaze with their otherworldly energies, and their ground forces emerged from the planet's surface like demons from a nightmare. They were relentless, each fallen Harrow replaced by another, seemingly unending in number. Their grotesque forms, a haunting echo of the countless beings they've assimilated, swarmed over our forces like a tide of despair. In the thick of battle, amidst the cacophony of screams and the stench of burning metal, I found myself questioning the price of this war. In the heart of this maelstrom, our forces fought valiantly, pushing deeper into their stronghold. We witnessed acts of heroism that words fail to capture, soldiers sacrificing themselves to protect their comrades, pilots navigating through impossible onslaughts, medics turning the tide of despair into a will to fight on, cruisers the size of cities ramming into ships of tendrils, teeth and fire. But with each advance, the cost grew steeper. The Harrow's tactics were unpredictable, their movements erratic and terrifying. They seemed to anticipate our every move, emerging from the shadows to strike with chilling precision. I watched, heart in throat, as brave soldiers were consumed by the alien tide. The sounds of battle were punctuated by the screams of the fallen, a haunting chorus that will forever echo in my memory. As the battle raged, an eerie realization dawned upon us. Scorpios was not just a stronghold, it was a trap. The Harrow had lured us into their web, and with each passing moment, their grip tightened. We were fighting not just for victory, but for survival. In the end, retreat was our only option. The vanguard, battered and bruised, spearheaded the withdrawal, covering the escape of as many ships as we could. The fleet is decimated. The survivors are a mere shadow of the force that once dared to challenge the darkness. The cost of this victory was written in the void of space, littered with a graveyard of all our ships and dreams, a silent testament to the horrors we've endured. Now, as I sit in my dimly lit quarters, the remnants of our invasion force regroup in orbit. The weight of this Pyrrhic victory weighs heavily upon me. I pen this entry with a hand that trembles not from fear, but from the weight of a burden too heavy to bear. We have survived, yet the question lingers in every whispered conversation and in every weary gaze. At what cost? Scorpios was meant to be a turning point, but as I look upon the damaged visage of our fleet and the haunted eyes of my crew, I can't help but wonder if we are spiralling into an abyss from which there is no return. The Harrow remain a force of immeasurable power and malice. As we prepare to leave Scorpios behind, it stands as a grim reminder of their strength. Our fleet, once a formidable force, is now a shadow of its former self, limping away from the battlefield, broken. The war goes on, its end as elusive as ever, but I'm left with a lingering sense of dread for what the future holds. I close this entry with a heavy heart, a soul burdened by the cost of war, and a mind plagued by the haunting sounds of Scorpios still ringing in my ears. We have faced the abyss, and though we have retreated, we have not succumbed. The war is far from over, and as long as we draw breath, we will continue to fight. For every fallen comrade, for every lost world, we will endure. The Harrow may have won this battle, but the war is far from decided. Captain Aria Thorne.
Stardate 2385.61, aboard the UGSF Vanguard, drifting in the outer rim of Sector Z15.
2 years have passed since the Scorpios offensive, Yet the shadow of that defeat lingers, an ever-present spectre in our weary hearts. The war has continued in its relentless, unforgiving pace, but where once there was a glimmer of hope, now only the cold embrace of despair remains. The galaxy, once a vibrant tapestry of life and light, is now fractured, its once proud civilizations either fallen or on the brink. The last stronghold fortress worlds, bastions of resistance, are besieged, their skies darkened by the looming threat of the Harrow. The mighty armadas of the United Galactic Security Forces, which once sailed through the stars with purpose and might, are reduced to mere fragments, scattered across the cosmos. The Vanguard, my once proud vessel, is now a ghost ship, wandering the outer rim, far from the heart of the conflict. Our missions, once grand offensives, have dwindled to hit-and-run tactics, a desperate form of guerrilla warfare on a galactic scale. The crew, those who have remained, are a shadow of their former selves. Battle-hardened, yes, but hollow, their eyes reflecting the void they have stared into for too long. Amidst this bleak landscape, only one beacon of resistance flickers with a semblance of defiance, the fleet led by High Admiral Varric. His plan, audacious and daring, seeks to strike at the heart of the Harrow's forces. Yet, even as they rally for this final push, there is an air of inevitability that cloaks their efforts. The whispers across the remaining channels speak of skirmishes lost, of worlds fallen, of a fight that seems less like a strategy and more like the last stand of the damned. In these moments of solitude, as I record this entry, I find myself grappling with the futility of our struggle. We fought valiantly, believing in the righteousness of our cause. But the Harrow, they are a force beyond our understanding, a nightmare that has bled into our reality, reshaping it into a canvas of terror and despair. Their grotesque forms, their ability to sow dread in the bravest of hearts, it haunts my dreams. A relentless echo of a war that has consumed everything we ever held dear. The universe, in its vast indifference, continues its inexorable march, uncaring and unyielding to the suffering that unfolds within it. We, mere specks in the grand scheme, have waged a war that now seems as insignificant as it is unwinnable. As I close this entry, I can't help but ponder the path that led us here. The decisions made, the lives lost, the world shattered. Was there ever a chance for peace? Or were we doomed from the start, pawns in a cosmic game too vast for us to comprehend? The war rages on, its end as elusive as a star's whisper. And yet, in this overwhelming darkness, I long for a peace I know I will never see, a peace that perhaps never was within our reach. Tomorrow we join the High Admiral's fleet for one last effort, a final act in this tragedy that has been our existence. May history remember us not as fools who grasped at the impossible, but as souls who dared to dream, even as the night closed in. Captain Aria Thorne.
Stardate 2387.02, aboard the UGSF Vanguard, adrift in the ruins of Sector X-31.
This will be my final entry. The Vanguard, my home, my companion through this relentless nightmare, now floats silently amidst the wreckage of what was once High Admiral Varric's last stand. The stars, once symbols of hope and exploration, now mock us with their distant, cold light. The final battle was a maelstrom of horror and desperation. We joined forces with High Admiral Varric, our spirits kindled by a faint, flickering flame of hope. But the Harrow, in their insidious wisdom, had laid a trap. As we engaged, their ships, like vultures circling a dying beast, descended upon us. The battle was not a contest of strategy or might. It was an orchestrated slaughter. The Harrow's forces, a grotesque parade of twisted metal and warped flesh, swarmed over us. Our weapons, our defences, nothing could stem their tide. The vanguard fought bravely, but one by one my crew fell, their screams echoing through the corridors, a haunting symphony of the end. And then, a blinding light, a deafening roar, and everything went silent. Now, I drift alone amidst the ghosts of my fallen comrades. The ship is a tomb, a hollow shell carrying the echoes of those who lived and died by my command. As I wander these empty halls, the reality of our defeat, the totality of our annihilation, weighs heavily upon my soul. I have seen horrors that defy description, encountered monstrosities that would unravel the sanest minds. The Harrow, in their relentless pursuit of domination, have not just defeated us. They have shattered our understanding of existence. Their ability to instill terror, to corrupt the very fabric of reality, is beyond the grasp of mortal comprehension. As I pen these final words, the truth of our war crashes upon me with the force of a dying star. We were never just fighting an enemy. We were fighting the embodiment of cosmic horror, an adversary that transcended the boundaries of our understanding. The war, in all its brutality and despair, was a futile struggle against an inexorable tide of darkness. The universe, vast and indifferent, continues on its path, uncaring of the plight of those who suffer within it. Our war, our pain, our loss, is but a fleeting whisper in the eternal silence of the cosmos. We dared to challenge the darkness, to fight against a fate that was sealed from the beginning. And in the end, we were but motes of dust, swept away by the uncaring winds of an indifferent universe. As I gaze out into the void, the stars no longer hold any meaning for me. They are but distant, uncaring watchers to our tragedy. I am left with nothing but the memories of those I have lost, the haunting emptiness of a war that was never ours to win. In this final solitary moment I find no peace, only the lingering echoes of a war that has consumed us all. The universe may forget us, but I will carry our story into the darkness. We fought, we dreamt, we despaired. And now I embrace the end, a lone sentinel in the void, whispering our tale to the uncaring stars. Captain Aria Thorne.
Terminal shutdown sequence initiated. System log off archive closure procedure. Saving all entries. Final entry saved. Captain Aria Thorne. Stardate 2387.02. Processing post-ending sequence. Summary report. The Harrow War, as chronicled by Captain Aria Thorne of the UGSF Vanguard, concludes with no further entries post-stardate 2387.02. Captain Thorne's personal account provides a profound insight into the psychological and physical toll of the war against the Harrow, a relentless and formidable adversary. The Harrow final assessment. The Harrow remain an enigmatic and terrifying force. Their ability to manipulate physical and psychological realities represents a significant threat to galactic stability. Their current status and activities post-conflict are unknown and warrant continuous observation. Captain Aria Thorne, final evaluation. Captain Thorne's leadership and resilience under extreme circumstances are to be commended. Her personal sacrifices and those of her crew embody the highest values of the United Galactic Security Forces. Her final entry marks the end of an era in the conflict with the Harrow, leaving a legacy of courage and determination in the face of insurmountable odds. Conflict impact. The war against the Harrow has left indelible marks on the galaxy. The loss of life, the destruction of worlds, and the psychological impact on survivors constitute a significant chapter in galactic history. Lessons learned. The conflict underscores the need for preparedness against unknown cosmic threats and the importance of understanding and mitigating the psychological impacts of such encounters. Archival status. All data entries, including the personal logs of Captain Aria Thorne, are secured and stored in the UGSF Historical Archives. These records serve as a testament to the resilience of those who faced the Harrow and a reminder of the cost of such a conflict. System message. Thank you for accessing the UGSF Historical Archives. Your session will now end. Shutting down. Goodbye.